Hi everyone, and welcome to the Soul Illumination Reading for the sign of Cancer. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot reading for Soul Illumination. So hi everyone and welcome. It's been a while since I've filmed a video, but I felt compelled to today. So Cancer, let's see what's going to come up for you. Now we're going to be looking at an area of focus that your soul would most like to illuminate for you at this time. We'll dive a little deeper into it once we get the cards out here, and then we will take a look at a block or a challenge around that area of focus. We'll look at advice from Spirit as to how to overcome it, and then a level of abundance or spiritual growth that wants to come in on the other side of that. Okay, so you have quite the story going on here, Cancer. Now we have the Five of Swords and the Five of Pentacles, which is the energy that you're currently sitting with, Cancer. Now this is where, this can actually be kind of a combative energy. There's a sense with the Five of Swords where we're in a place where we are willing to do what it takes to win at all cost. It's where we can argue a point without wanting to hear the other side of somebody. But with the Five of Pentacles, these two cards together, the Five of Pentacles can speak to a sense of lack. It can lead to a sense of what I'd like to say is like a poverty mindset, which is where we feel like we don't have enough of something: time, energy, money, support. It can also be where we feel like we're kind of left out in the cold. Now, for some of you, there may be a sense of almost defending this position within yourself. Maybe we can get to places in our life where we have been kind of on the outside, or where we go through periods where maybe we didn't have enough money, or we didn't have enough time or resources. And there can be a sense of kind of getting stuck in that energy where maybe now things are wonderful in your life, and yet you're still clinging to the sense of, but I have to keep saving. And there's that fear of, if I start to maybe spend the money I've been saving, I'm going to find myself back in this place, in the Five of Pentacles. And it could be where people may be on the outside, this is your internal energy. So this could actually be you kind of fighting with yourself, where you're still trying to kind of hold to this feeling of, I don't have enough. I don't have enough support. This could even be where you're Five of Pentacles. I'm not good enough. I can't do it. There's a sense of having to get very clear with yourself of, if you're trying to do something and this sense is kind of creeping in of, but I don't have enough time, or I really want to do something new or change something, and but I never have enough money. That can be that kind of sensibility coming through. So there's a sense of almost like this internal struggle between maybe what's actually going on in the external, which is actually a positive, and what's going on in the internal, where you might be being asked to kind of release this tie to something in the past, a way of being, a mindset that came about either due to maybe your upbringing, due to certain experiences you've had, but that are tied into a sense of lack, unworthiness, or a lack of support. Now, in your external environment, we have a whole little story going on here. We have the Nine of Cups, we have the Four of Wands, we have the Two of Wands, and we have the Two of Swords. Now, the Nine of Cups is that heart's fulfillment. It's that heart's wish. It's where we have a lot to be grateful for on an emotional level, but there's something that our heart still yearns for, to take our whole experience from wonderful to literally getting a chance to really step into that, feeling like you're living a little piece of heaven on earth. Now, with the Four of Wands can represent any type of stability, foundation that has been created from a sense of passion. And that can be a marriage, that can be the foundation for a business, that can be the foundation even just in a community or friend group. And there's a sense here for many of you, I think, where there was a realization. This is what your soul is actually highlighting for you right now. So this is the illumination in this reading. There's a sense here of being drawn to a heart's wish that has to do with some type of foundation. Now, it could have been a heart's wish where maybe you did yearn to get married, or you did yearn to have that business foundation, or you did yearn to have that sense of community, grounding yourself in a specific place. And with the Two of Wands, you made the decision. There's a sense of making that decision of, I'm choosing to go in this direction. I'm choosing to... For some of you, this could actually be, if this was in the past, where you might be married now. You might have that foundation for the business. You might be in the community that you've always wanted to be a part of. And there's a sense that you made a commitment to that with the Two of Wands. There was a choice to be made. Kind of, where do I go from here? Do I choose to follow my heart? Do I choose to really focus on maybe my marriage or the foundations there? Or do I choose to do something else? Because with the Two of Swords, this represents a sense of indecision, where we are trying to figure out what is more in alignment with our truth. And yet the reality of what the Two of Swords tells us is that we can't actually just look at those two swords and discern them through using our normal forms of discernment or judgment. There's a sense of having to, which is why she's represented by being a blindfolded individual here. She has to actually go within. She has to trust her intuition, to feel that call, to really know the compass point of, do I choose this way or do I choose that way? Now, I find it interesting how these cards came out, because it looks almost like the individual here at the Two of Wands is looking directly at the Four of Wands. And it's saying, to a certain extent, you chose this. You chose to go out in pursuit of that marriage, or you chose to go out in pursuit of that business. You chose to go out in pursuit of whatever this foundation represents for you. But now there's a sense here of maybe there's a little bit of a lack of clarity of, do I continue to build on this? Do I continue to choose this? Or was it really in alignment with myself? Sometimes when we actually get that gift, and this is just something that's coming in intuitively, sometimes when we actually get something that comes in for us, it's like that, we wish so long, we wish and wait and hope, and then suddenly here it is. It's ready. It's at our doorstep. All we have to do is step into it. And yet with the Five of Swords and the Five of Pentacles, we can sit there and say, no, it's still not the right time. I still don't have enough. This could be like, okay, you were given all the things to make this business work, and you have the foundation set, and you chose to do that, and your heart hoped for it. And yet now you're too afraid to push publish on your website and actually tell everybody that you have a business. It can be something like that, because you're like, no, it's not time yet, and people aren't going to understand. And what if I do that and no one comes or buys my product or supports me? There's that sense here of, there has been a chosen foundation or something from the heart that is here for you, and yet there's like a 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Because with the Seven of Pentacles as your main underlying energy, this is where you're kind of looking at everything in your physical experience and really having to sit with the energy of, do I continue to commit to this, or how do I continue to commit to this? Now, what's interesting is you have underneath this the Seven of Swords and the Eight of Pentacles, and there's this sense of an avoidance of commitment. There's this sense of, at one point, we can read this two ways. We can read this if we're looking at it from, the past to the future, that you had been putting your head down and working on something pretty diligently for a while, whether this is a skill set, a career path, a family, or this could be like working so hard to get prepared to get married or have the family. And then with the Seven of Swords, there's a sense of almost I would say there's this element of self-sabotage a little bit when it comes in like this, where it's almost like you're second guessing yourself. You're going back to the Seven of Pentacles and going like, wait a second, is this really what I wanted to build? I've focused so hard on this, and it's almost like sitting there and saying, you're looking at it instead of at the Eight of Pentacles, which is, wow, look how much you've worked towards, look how much you've saved, look how much you've created, look how much you've built. And you're looking at it almost like one pentacle less, saying, it's not enough. I need more. I need to put more in. Now we could look at this in the other way, where maybe for some of you, there is a sense here of maybe having to go back and reevaluate and maybe apply yourself slightly differently, because that's what the Seven of Pentacles can ask us. Looking at everything as it is in the current moment in your physical environment, is it truly what you were hoping for when you put your head down and started to do the work and put, the time and energy to grow? Let's say you see the little tree here. Is it bearing the fruit that you were hoping? And if so, then you can continue to invest time in the same way, or energy in the same way, or money in the same way. But if not, it's kind of like looking at it going, what needs to change there? And there's a little bit, I still do feel for some of you, there's a sense of trying to avoid, I think, the full commitment to the foundation that your heart is yearning for. And that full commitment is almost like again, 1 foot in, 1 foot out is what I'm really feeling here, Cancer. So I'm going to pull some additional cards and we're going to see what wants to come in here. I just keep hearing over and over again, you have enough. You have enough. Whether that's support, whether that's time, whether that's money, you have enough to choose to really support, I think, again, the foundation you really wanted. So keep that in mind, whatever that was in the past. Okay, so now I'm going to pull some cards. We're going to look at the challenge. We're going to look at the advice from Spirit, and then we're going to look at the level of abundance or spiritual growth that wants to come in. So we have the Ace of Swords coming out as your main challenge point. And that is a lot. That's clarity. That is the decision. So with the Two of Swords over here, there's that sense of, but I don't see the way forward. I don't know. I don't have the answer. And the Ace of Swords is saying, yeah, you do. That's clarity right there. It's saying, here's the truth. It's almost like I like to see the Ace of Swords almost like turning on the light. When it's like, ding, oh, I see now. It can be that aha moment. Or the realization of like a reality check. Let's see here. Okay, yeah. So here's the Hermit and the Four of Wands. So there's that Four of Wands again. So this Four of Wands, this foundation is it's pivotal. And this is what Spirit is asking you to embrace. This is the advice, is really looking at what that Four of Wands is in your experience. What is that foundation? Is it the family? Is it a marriage? Is it... you can look at it even just greater than that. Is it the home life? Is it the community? Is it the business? Whatever this is, there's a sense of almost like recommitting to that foundation, choosing that foundation. Now, with the Ace of Swords and the Hermit is a beautiful card to come up here, especially with the Ace of Swords, because there's a sense of really like suddenly becoming clear as to what you shine out there uniquely into our collective experience. The Hermit is a card that harnesses the energy of Virgo, but it also speaks to really going within, spending that alone time to really reconnect with yourself, reconnect with those dreams, those hopes, those things you yearn for. But also to reconnect with the magic that you bring to your own life experience, the light that you uniquely shine as you courageously follow your hopes and dreams. And I think for many of you, that light has come on. There's a realization of what you want to shine in the world. And I think for many of you, you're seeing now a tie to a foundation in your life in a new way. You know, this could be where maybe you committed to a certain point. This could be like, hey, you started a business and, you know, yes, it was something you really wanted to focus on, something you were passionate about. It really speaks to a skill set that you were working on. And then there's a sense where, okay, the fear crept in of like, well, what if I can't do this? What if I do take that leap and I'm out in the cold again? But now it's almost like the light, something has come on, something has changed in your experience that's allowed you to see something about yourself. And now it's almost like you see that foundation in a new way. You see a new way to connect to it. And yet there's still that fear. So this could be like realizing, if this is, let's say, a business foundation, that all of a sudden you realize, oh my gosh, I'm really getting clear now on something unique about yourself. You know, maybe you're a great speaker, or maybe you realize something has happened in your life and you're like, oh my gosh, this was what I really wanted to do with that business. It wasn't just to make money. It wasn't just to do it because I could do it. It's because I really wanted to share my passion for literacy, you know, and suddenly you realize like that's everything for you, reading books and teaching people about, reading. And I don't know why that just came in here, but there's something like that all of a sudden you realize, oh my gosh, that's how I can continue to build and commit to this foundation. But then again, the fear is creeping in, and it's kind of like, well, yeah, but then it's almost like this fear and this realization are battling with each other and causing you to look at everything almost in a new light, in a new way, saying, well, shoot, like if I'm realizing this about myself, then what has to change in the foundation? And I think it's not that something has to change in the foundation. It's almost more like a recommitment to that foundation and the realization of your direct connection to it, that this foundation is in your life because it ties directly to what you most yearn for, to that star within yourself, that guiding principle. So it could be almost like seeing your home life in a whole new way. Let's say you had children or you got married, and there's a sense of like, oh my gosh, like, maybe there was something happening in your life and there's a change happening, and now you're realizing like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing more of what I can bring now to this foundation, to my family. I see why my heart yearned for this. Maybe you're realizing something with your children. Maybe it's bringing something out in you. Maybe you're realizing that you can use your home, your stability for something else. But then there's that sense of like, but if I do that, then I might have to change everything. And it's like, well, yeah, you might have to change something like one or two things, with the Seven of Pentacles, to go back and reevaluate. But it's not something to turn your back on. It's something to turn around and fully embrace. There's a sense of really sharing something. And again, a sense of committing to something you had previously committed to, previously chosen to work towards. But there's a sense of that recommitment now. And maybe for some of you, this can be like where we go through a period of maybe like, yes, I want to have a family and kids, and then you get married, and then you go through a rough patch, and you say, I don't know if I want to work on this, or like I need to get out of the house, I'm not going to commit my time and energy in the way, there's something like that where you could even say like, do I want to stay in this marriage? Do I want to keep living in the house that we're living in? And then there's a realization here of like, okay, it's time to get back. It's time to stop trying to kind of avoid this and really look at how can yes, I do want this. Yes, I see now how I can reconnect to this on a more deep and integral and truly spiritual connected way. And now that I see that, now that I know that, how can I use that to help me get past this fear of around some area of my life where there's a lack, or where I've always kind of maybe held on to something a little too much. So on the other side of this, we have the Prince of Swords and the Seven of Wands. The Prince of Swords is technically the Knight of Swords in this deck, and the Seven of Wands, as we move over here, is a card that really speaks to standing your position, standing your ground, really choosing to make that decision to say, yeah, this is the way I'm going. Now, the Knight of Swords can be where it's a card kind of blunt communication. It could be one where we're sharing a truth, where we're kind of finally just telling somebody something. But I do get the feeling here, this is that communication. There's a sense of getting firm with that recommitment, of now standing your ground even firmer. It's almost like saying, okay, maybe if you had 1 foot in and out of maybe your marriage, or 1 foot in and out of your home life, or 1 foot in and out of, do I commit to this business? It's all of a sudden, it's like the sharing of that out loud and saying, yes, the truth is, I do want to recommit to this. I do want to choose possibly, though, a new way or a new avenue that is going to be more in alignment with myself. Meaning that this could be like where maybe now you do see how that business foundation could be changed slightly to be more in alignment with something that, again, you become spiritually connected with. This could be like where, okay, you started a business to focus on whatever, but now you realize, oh my gosh, my whole thing is really about books and literacy and the importance of speaking to that, to the greater collective experience. And so now the business that's already kind of maybe started, or I'm about to start, I'm now going to tie in a literacy component. Maybe I give 10% to a literacy foundation, or maybe now I actually bring that into my business and I offer free literacy classes. There can be things like that where it's almost like now it's time to say, okay, I'm not going to walk away from the original foundation. I'm not going to walk away from maybe my marriage, but I am going to tell my partner that there's something that my heart yearns for, and I'd like to build more of that into this foundation. And that Prince of Swords is telling that this is the sharing of that truth. There's a sense for some of you, I think maybe the challenge could be that you've been sitting kind of internally for a long time, going through this kind of soul-seeking experience, sitting with the truth that's been revealed to you, and yet you've yet to go out there and speak it. And this is a time that's really inviting you to do that and to stand your position, to be proud. When we get these moments of clarity about the self, about what we're capable of, about what we are able to shine into the world, or that we want to bring connect more of our spiritual self to our physical experience, that's always a positive. And there's a sense here of really getting into that, really being brave in the sharing of that truth, and then really being clear as to defending your actions that you choose to take with regards to this foundation. Okay, so let's go ahead here. I'm going to pull some additional clarifiers, and then we'll pull a final card and wrap up your reading. So let's see here. Let's dive a little deeper into this Ace of Swords. What is this clarity, this truth? Okay, the Emperor. Yeah, there's a sense here of really regaining your own footing, your own power. Yep, and there's the Star. So the Star and the Knight of Swords. There's a sense here of getting very clear about sharing with someone what that dream is that you yearn for in your heart. This could be like going to somebody and saying, this could actually, and with the Emperor coming in, there's a sense again of regaining your power. It could actually be for some of you where you're telling somebody that you want to become a business owner. That could be something along the lines here too, where you're like, I want to go into business. That's a dream of mine. But I think for most of you, there's a sense of kind of stepping back into that sense, that kind of masculine energy of the Emperor, which is Aries, which a lot of us, this is coming out in a lot of readings now because we are really moving into the energy of Aries because of the North and the South nodes of the moon moving into Aries and Libra. And so all of us are being pushed to really embrace the masculine energy. And there's a sense here of whatever this truth, this clarity has been revealed to you, that it is directly connected to that guiding principle within, to a dream that your heart yearns for. And there's, the Star can actually be something even bigger. It can be not even just like like it's like, oh yeah, I would love to have a family someday. The Star can be something where you yearn for every single child on earth to know how to read, or to have a food in their stomach at the end of every day. There's something like almost like this grander truth to you that you're realizing there's a bigger star, and maybe it's a sense of almost like not being able to to actually give voice to it. Maybe that's why you've been kind of sitting in this soul-seeking energy. But I do get the feeling that for many of you, there's been a sense of, do I commit or do I walk away? And now there's a clarity as to, okay, what does that look like? Now, for some of you, this could be, where I'm getting kind of like a recommitment. This might actually be where you are choosing to walk away to commit to something new that is more in alignment with yourself. Now, this was a theme that was coming up very strongly in your last reading. But the Four of Wands, this does speak to looking at the foundations that you already have. And there's a sense of building on a current foundation, not throwing a foundation away, if that makes sense. Using the stability in some aspect of your life that you've worked for, whether this is even just a partnership, if this is a marriage, this could be that the foundation is between you and your partner, and you're ready to continue to commit to that, but in a new way. In a way now that you're sharing with your partner what that dream in your heart is. Why are you choosing to maybe take a different stance? Why are you choosing now to, want to break into the savings account, and move to a new house? There's a sense of saying that, like, hey, honey, I know we've lived in this house for 15 years, but my dream is to live on a farm in the country. And to be honest, we've saved for this. I know we were technically saving this for a vacation house on the beach, but holy cow, I realized I want to get into sustainable farming because I think it's incredibly important and it really speaks to my soul. It's like that would be the conversation here. There's definitely a conversation, I think, for many of you that needs to be had. Okay, so with the Six of Coins and the Ace of Coins, yeah, there's a sense here of rebalancing in your life. The Six of Coins is a sense of reciprocity. There's also a sense here of a new start, of starting something new in the physical that's actually going to bring more balance into your life. It could also be for some of you where you are looking at a fresh start, and it might actually kind of shift the balance in your life for you to maybe it would almost be like for you to say, honey, I want to go back into the workplace, or honey, I want to be a stay-at-home parent. And suddenly this shifting, maybe you were always in a place where you were the one dependent on somebody in the relationship or the foundation. And maybe now you're the one on the other side of that, where you're the one who is kind of taking the lead. Now it could be the reverse, but there is a sense here with whatever this new start is, this new opportunity, the seed for something new, that it is going to bring some level of reciprocity in your life or some balance that maybe we're in an area where there had been imbalance. There's also a showing here from, the 5 to the 6. There's that sense of moving out of that sense of lack in that sense of not having enough to a place now where you feel like everything is stable and you have enough. And it's through the commitment to this new Ace of Pentacles, this new opportunity that you can add on top of the current 7 that you have and take it back up to the 8. What would that look like? That could look like saying, I want to change something in my business and I might need to put more money into it now. I might have to put more money into it to get it to where I want to be, but that's going to bring that level of reciprocity because I'm going to see a return on my investment that is more in alignment with myself. And that could be the same thing in any aspect of your life. Okay, so for the 4 of Wands, we have the 5 of Wands. That's a sense of a little bit of chaos, a little bit of like too many cooks in the kitchen, but it can be also one of healthy competition. But I am feeling more than anything that there's a sense of maybe where for a while this foundation has been a little chaotic. This can be where your home life gets a little kind of all over the place, or your marriage gets a little, you guys are both distracted and there's just a lot going on. It can also be, let's say if this is a work environment or a business where you just got a little overwhelmed, too many things happening at one time. And it's almost like this is saying, take it back to the foundation, take it back to the original foundation. If you can clear out, 2 of Wands, there we go. That's the choice right there. That's the 2 of Wands over here. It's almost like saying, remember what you had committed to. Remember the path you chose and where that foundation was what was it built on? What was that decision? It's kind of like, where do you go from here? Do you choose the chaos or do you choose the original foundation? And how now can you, again, without kind of jumping into the fray or getting into the mix, how can you get very clear as to either how you want to recommit to this foundation or how you want to walk away from something in order to continue to maybe save that original foundation so that you can get away from the chaos. But there is a sense of, again, really looking at the commitments you've made, the choices you've made, and the direction you wanted to follow, and the foundation that was built because of that. Yeah, and then we have the Knight of Swords and we have the 8 of Wands. Interesting, yeah, that's saying this is communication, and with that communication comes fast movement. This could actually be where you, share it with the world. You put it out there on social media because 8 of Wands can speak to quick communication, which generally nowadays speaks to the realm of electronic communication, text messages, emails, social media, that kind of thing. And so it could be that you're sharing something on social media about this truth, about this change, and it's really bringing things towards you. It's actually, there's a sense of kind of opening up an energetic flow through sharing of that. And there's the Four of Wands again. So Four of Wands is officially the card of the day. The Four of Wands, again, it really does speak to that foundation, that pivotal foundation. Now, this could be something where maybe for some of you, you are sharing, again, a change in that foundation. You know, I am selling the business, or I am starting the business, or I am, you know, maybe this could even just be a conversation you're having with your significant other, and you're like, hey, you know, something needs to change. We need to recommit in a way, or, you know, it's time now to, I do want to buy that house and focus on sustainable farming, you know, something like that. And all of a sudden, you know, your partner's like, okay, you know, it's gotten crazy here. You know, like in our indecision of wanting to see, do we, you know, spend the money on the house or the vacation house, or do we just sit here and, you know, suffer and not go on vacations for the next 4 years because we're hoping to have the vacation home in 5 years? You know, there's a sense of like getting very clear and saying, okay, let's do something. Let's make that decision to recommit or not. And then what is that plan of action going to be? And then how can we move forward building on this firm foundation? Or changing it, you know, changing it in a way that we still get the best of it. Because there's still a sense of like, you chose it, and your heart yearned for it. And it's still something that means a lot to you, but now there's a change. And it all does stem down to, you know, getting over within yourself that sense of lack or fear around not having enough of something. And now it's almost like saying, we have enough, let's do it. Or I have enough, let's do it. For some of you, you have been almost kind of, I think, avoiding a level of maybe a skill set you've worked on, or again, a level of monetary success, a level of something in your life. And there's a sense here, maybe because something just wasn't jiving right. You know, it could be like where, you know, you're working, but yet there's like that missing pentacle. There's that missing something where it's like something had to come into focus first within yourself. And then it's almost like the dots connected and you're like, I see it. That's the missing piece. That's why my life has felt chaotic. That's what needs to change. And that's the choice I'm making now. And it's almost like turning back to your partner, or turning back to your family, or turning back to even maybe a business partner, or, you know, a place of work, and being like, okay, I see now, like I'm ready to come back 100%, but this is what I've realized about myself. This is what I want. And this is the action I'm choosing to take. And suddenly that opens up everything. It's almost like that foundation gets more secure and the energy starts to flow again. And it's all, I think, for many of you, having to utilize that throat chakra a little bit, whether it's just, you know, through speaking it, or whether it's literally communicating in another way. All right, so we have Knight of Cups and we have the Queen of Wands. I love that. There's a sense of Queen of Wands is Aries energy again. So we're really stepping into that place of that fiery, passionate self. She's the individual who shows up. There's almost like a sense of recommitting to your fire, to your passion. Again, uniquely, it's almost like for some of you, maybe you've kind of been hiding a little bit of your self for a while. And now it's like, okay, I'm going to show myself, you know, the cape's coming off, you know, something like that. There's also a sense too, when the Queen of Wands comes up for me, and there's a sense of that blooming where you're planted, because she really is able to work her own magic to be able to grow literally flowers in a barren desert if that's what she so chooses. And she does so because of how magnetic she can become through just showing up as her authentic self. And the Knight of Cups is the hopeful romantic. This is the individual who's ready to go out there with their open cup or their heart on their sleeve, and they're ready to meet new people. They're ready to go on that kind of romantic quest. And there's that sense of almost defending that within yourself, of saying, I'm defending the romantic. I'm going to put my rose-colored glasses on. I'm going to get out my magic wand, and we're going to make this happen. And I'm taking off that cape. Now at the bottom of the deck, here's the underlying energies again. We have the Five of Wands, which was the chaos kind of overshadowing the original beautiful foundation. And then we have the Seven of Swords, which is again right here, the not wanting to see something, trying to avoid something, trying to it's almost like trying to get around something. There's can be a sense of self-sabotage there where you're like, I'm just not going to look at it, just not going to deal with it. For many of you, I think it could be that your life got a little too chaotic, and it's, this can be like where you're in a marriage and things are just going crazy in your life, and so but yet at a base level, that you are not connecting with your partner. You don't have time to be intimate. You don't have time to really speak to each other. You don't have time to have time, together apart, or like having date nights or things like that. But you're not willing to face it. Something needs to change. And then this is the realization of, oh my gosh, it's me and my partner against the world. It always has been. Now it's time for me, maybe it's time for you to retire. It could be like saying that. It's time for me to retire because I have a new dream now. And that dream speaks to the foundation that I built, which was with you, this beautiful marriage. And I'm going to retire. Why don't you retire? We have enough money in the bank. Let's live out the next, third of our life doing what we always wanted to do. Maybe it's traveling the world. Maybe it's buying an animal rescue, something like that. But there's a sense here of that coming through of like, wait a second, life got in the way. What's the real priority? What's the real dream now? And something I've been trying to avoid making that decision. It's time to make that decision, and it's time to step back in to the seat of your own power as it stands now, but with a new, fresh eye to a foundation in your life that might have gotten a little hidden in just the chaos of everyday life. Okay, I'm going to pull a final card here for you guys. And let's see. I'm actually going to pull two. I'm going to pull one here. Let's see. Oh, I love it. So I'm pulling one oracle, and then I'm going to pull a second one that I'll read the excerpt from the book with here. So we have the crumbling. It says, what are you clinging to? Now, I love this because it's like the individual, it's like us, you being here on this side, and it's like the gate is like, yes, you're in the scary place with the lightning, but yet the door is opening, and it's like heaven. There it is, heaven on earth. There's the 10 of Cups right there. And yet you're afraid to walk through that door. And there's that sense of, but it's right there. You can see it. So what are you clinging to? Are you clinging to that job? Are you clinging to a sense, whatever you're clinging to comes from the Five of Swords and the Five of Pentacles, which is, the wanting to continue to have this stance that I don't have enough, we don't have enough, of something. And it's saying, yeah, you have enough. And it's time to choose you, Cancer. Okay, let's see here. Let's see what Cancer needs to know as a final card. Okay, we have Merkaba, spiritual protection. I love that. Number 25. Breaking down to the number 7 in numerology. The number 7 really speaks to the energy of spirit, of working with spirit, connection to spirit, and the confidence that comes when we understand that we are co-creating with spirit and that we have been designed to be a specific way, to shine a specific way into this world. Okay, so it says, being open to receive is a way to gain empowerment, strength, and all manner of assistance. To enhance receptivity, it can be helpful to declutter and cleanse your energy field. This allows for that which is not rightfully yours to be shed. Sometimes this will include the disowned thoughts and feelings of others. When you release these thoughts and feelings, a spaciousness will grow within you. Then you can this one's written a little weirdly. It says, then you can receive more of what is rightfully meant to be for you, your divine good in all ways. An open, sensitive person can easily become energetically overloaded. From physical pain to emotional and psychological tension, an overload does not feel good. You may even feel like you are carrying others on your back or in your head. The added weight can drag your natural light vibration down into anguish, doubt, fear, or despair. Your inner vision, too, may be obscured by the overload. That can make it hard to discern what is yours and what belongs to another. Whether experiencing overload to your system is an unusual occurrence for you, or you have a tendency to absorb and process others' energies, common for healers, psychics, mediums, artists, and other sensitive, open people, you will benefit from a spiritual cleansing. Afterwards, you may feel less inclined to connect with particular people or work on certain ideas, even if they seemed very important before the cleanse. This means that you are freeing yourself from others' input and discerning the true priorities of your own heart. To accept a spiritual cleansing now, repeat the invocation below, and then relax for as long as you need. With the oracle card resting face down over any part of your body that you intuitively feel can use spiritual cleansing. Well, obviously, you can't do that if you don't have this deck, but I think I will actually read the invocation, which I don't normally do. For those of you who would like to just read the invocation and kind of have that as a mantra for the next little bit. It says, pay particular attention to what you sense immediately after your cleansing. It is a time when you may become very aware of just who or what has been draining you and be able to lovingly but firmly say, you must leave my energy field now and not return without my express verbal permission. Of my own free will, so be it. This oracle is also confirmation for those of you who have been questioning if a relationship, person, or situation has been draining you or transferring negative energies or thoughts into your energy field. Your insights are correct, and you can now use this energy clearing process to remove the cords of attachment and release any negative energy from that person or situation. Okay, so here's the invocation. It says, I call upon unconditionally loving divine protection. The sacred chamber of light, the Merkaba of divine light, is around me now. I choose of my own free will under divine authority and grace to release any and all connections, content, and contaminants that do not serve me through unconditional love. I choose of my own free will to take my life journey in the most joyful and loving way possible. I open to divine grace for cleansing and protection of my integrity at all times. I am free to simply be in the truth of me. May all beings be blessed and protected. May all beings be happy and free. Through my own free will, so be it. All right, guys, I hope you all have found something helpful in this. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And if you'd like to book your own personal reading to take a look at what your soul would most like to illuminate for you at this time, to help you maybe answer some difficult questions or, again, gain more insight into a specific area of your life, you can click on the link in the description box below to visit my website. Otherwise, I will see you all in your next Soul Illumination reading. Bye, Cancer.